Good morning. Hi, everybody. I'm the Reverend Ellen Quaadgras. I serve in collaborative leadership at South Church with Kirsten Hunter, our Director of Lifespan Ministry, and in shared ministry with all of you and you online. Welcome to this center of shared ministry, this place where we come to care for ourselves and each other, where we gather to take a breath, find respite from life's pressures, and be held in this historic and sacred space. And welcome to this place where we gather for one another, to see each other and support each other, and as our mission statement reminds us, to inspire one another to act on our faith in the larger community. Our theme this month is Building Belonging, exploring how we create spaces where people feel genuinely at home. And today, we reflect on the power of widening our circles to include those we do not yet know. That might be someone walking through these doors for the very first time, or someone we meet in the ordinary moments of everyday living far beyond these walls. I'm very glad to be here this morning with Harper Bairstow, our worship associate, our youth member, brand new this year and already bringing wonderful energy to the work. See? Yay! I'm grateful also for Susan and Jonny and Cathy and Laura, who will be leading us in song and weaving words with music this morning. Thank you to Sasha and Jen for making everything available to the wider world through our network. Hello to all of you out there. And to Jen DB, who will lead our Time for All Ages, after which our youngest are invited downstairs for religious education classes. And after the service, you too are invited downstairs for coffee hour, with treats and conversation and a question of the day, ideally to ask someone you do not know well. What helps you feel at home in a new place? Or what gets in the way? I have a couple of announcements. The auction is underway. Come, all volunteers, whoever you are, whether you would like to help organize or donate an item, a dinner, a weekend away, or a unique experience. I'm thinking of donating a 70s song circle night. Imagine singing the Eagles, Elton John, maybe even Bee Gees together. I don't know, we'll see. Matt Madera told the board this week that the auction may be one of the best experiences you will ever have. Matt will be available at coffee hour if you want to hear more. No pressure, Matt. Mission United, change is afoot. Mission United is part of that. It's the reimagined stewardship direction. And they, I know, spoke something about lunch and change and October 19th after worship and something's catered by Beach Pea. All the details, though, are in your order of service, so check that out. There are flowers for sale downstairs, $30. 5 of those for every bouquet goes to the church. The RE Volunteer Lunch will be at 73 Court Street, that way. Circle Supper sign-up is happening now downstairs. No, it's online. It's online next week downstairs. Yeah, great. And we have an announcement about the fall retreat.
Good morning. Reverend Ellen just said that we come to church on Sundays and take a breath and have a sense of belonging. And I would invite you, if you maybe need that to be a little longer than the hour and a half about that we were here, to come on the fall retreat. And we have brochures at coffee hour. There's also information online. It's a place to relax and reconnect and just play and laugh. And it's on Lake Winnipesaukee. And if you would like more information, like I said, downstairs or online, this is the last Sunday to sign up. We could take some sign-ups throughout this week as well. So please see us. Thank you.
Thank you. And of course, please check out your bulletin. It has all the things that are happening at South Church. There's so much that is speaks to your soul, your heart, your mind. Check it out. Also, please note that there are listening devices and large print hymnals in the back. And please silence your cell phone if you have not already. And now, as we enter into our service, we pause for a land acknowledgement to remind ourselves and each other that this church has not always been here, that the people who were here before were brutally displaced by our ancestors. And yet, the resilience of those first peoples is real, and their stewardship of land, water, and relationship continues. Their example calls us into deeper awareness and accountability, reminding us that repair is unfinished work, and the responsibility to live differently is ours today.
This morning we light the chalice with words from Reverend Molly Hoosh Gordon, Learning to Love This World. We gathered together this morning tenderly, like drops of dew on a leaf of grass, hopefully, like gathered raindrops in a cloud, learning to love this world. Please rise in body or spirit and join me in reciting the mission statement printed in your order of service. At South Church, we nurture spiritual growth through worship, learning, and community. We celebrate the worth and dignity of all people, and we inspire one another to act on our faith in the larger community. I feel like the term stranger danger is overdone. I think that strangers are one of the main things that help us learn new perspectives and life experiences. The other week, I was at Panera with my friend Ella, We were trying our hardest to understand our pre-calculus assignment together, but unfortunately, neither of us has a heart for math, so we learned the next day that we didn't end up getting any of the questions right. As we talked about our lives, our food, and the tragedies this world has to offer, we noticed an older gentleman sitting across the restaurant peering over at us. Now, usually I'd be nervous and really uncomfortable seeing an old man staring at me, but he had a certain curious look in his eye. He sat in his booth all by himself in a Patriots sweatshirt, khakis, a Red Sox hat, and LL Bean loafers, drinking his black coffee in a to-go cup. Classic New England grandpa, if you ask me. As Ella and I were talking, we noticed him coming over to us. The teenage girl in public in me got defensive and nervous, but the nursing assistant who wants to give elderly people patience and kindness in me said, "Let's hear what this guy has to say." This was big for me. As my parents know, I'm not really one to voluntarily talk to strangers in a public setting. He came right up to our table and asked us straight away, "Do either of you know who played Scarlett O'Hara in Gone with the Wind?" His conversation starter failed a little bit because neither of us had seen Gone with the Wind. As soon as he saw our puzzled faces, he said, "Vivian Leigh." That was the last time we talked about Gone with the Wind in our 10-minute conversation. We had him sit down and we talked about school, and he shared with us that he is, in fact, a Dover High School alumnus, which is where I go, and his name is Arthur. He attended Wesleyan University for his bachelor's degree and Boston University for his master's. So I would say he's a pretty smart guy. Eventually, he wished us well, told us we're both beautiful on the inside and out, and went on his way. Along with my interaction with Arthur, I've been met with other uncomfortable but informative experiences on my learning and service trips with our own senior youth. Through these experiences, I've begun to understand other perspectives from people with different experiences than mine. I've met people who have been subjected to racism, poverty, and addiction, and it's opened my eyes to the differences in our lives, but also how similar we all really are. Please rise in body or spirit and join us in singing hymn number 188, "Come, Come, Whoever You Are."
Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come yet again, come yet again, come.
Ooh, that felt good. Now, I would love to have some company up here in this vast and lonely spot. Help me make it cozy. Any kids, any teens, any adults who would like to join me, please come right up here. I recently came across a wisdom tale that's pretty similar to a true story that I told recently about something that we had done in our Roots summer program. And the moral of this wisdom tale is, I think, one of the most important things we need to keep remembering over and over. So, once upon a time, there was a sweet village nestled in some beautiful rolling hills. It was a small village where everybody knew each other, and they prided themselves on their gardening and the food they could produce in their gardens, and they loved to create fantastic meals that they shared together. And then there was a newcomer to the village, a boy named Jake, who was looking for a new place to call home. And he was feeling really nervous because he didn't know anyone in this village, and he wasn't sure how he would get to know people. He was really shy, and he wasn't sure how he was going to fit into this sweet little village where everybody knew each other. And then he found out that there was a really cool project starting in this village where everybody was going to create a tapestry together that represented their community. And so everybody in the village was invited to bring their own strings and weave them into a loom. And everybody in this village had beautiful, bright, colored yarns, and some were sparkly, and some were different textures. And they were gorgeous yarns that they were weaving in, and it was becoming really intricate. And so Jake wanted to get in on this, to weave himself into the community. And so he brought his yarn, which was a very simple, neutral color yarn, and he came over to the loom, and a girl named Elara saw Jake come up with his yarn, and she was a very experienced weaver. This whole project was kind of her idea. And she saw Jake's really simple, plain yarn, and she was thinking, that's different from the other yarns. I'm not really sure that yarn belongs in this weaving because it's not like the others. And one of the village elders had been sitting and watching, observing, like a lot of elders sometimes do. And this welder, who was compassionate and patient, could read Alara's face really well. She knew exactly what Elara was thinking. So before Elara said anything out loud, the elder said to her, Elara, this project you are hosting is wonderful, and the strength of this tapestry will come from all of the different kinds of yarn that you are inviting here. And the more variety in this weaving tapestry, the more it will represent the strength of our community. And as this was going on, Jake was weaving in his plain thread, and the dimensions just got deeper into this tapestry, and it looked even better than it already was. And that elder was right. Jake's yarn did belong in there. And it turned out that Jake wasn't so much a gardener, but he was a dancer, and he brought some dance traditions and styles from where he had come from. And as he got to know people, he taught them these dances. And so now, when they feasted, they had wonderful food and another dimension of celebration. So, let's go downstairs and weave some community.
During the month of September, our collection will be shared with Gather. Gather provides nutritious food and prepared meals to those experiencing hunger through a pantry market, mobile markets, and innovative food access programs. Gather serves more than 10,000 Seacoast residents each month. The offering will now be gratefully received.
Oh, we give thanks for this precious day, for all gathered here and those far away, for this time we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day.
As we enter our time of meditation and prayer, I want to share two tender pieces of news from our community. Alice Timmons reached out to let me know that her longtime partner, Margaret Cook, who has been living with Alzheimer's for many years, is moving into a new stage of life, where her language and wakefulness are slipping away. Alice asks that we hold them both in our thoughts and to offer them our prayers for courage in this difficult situation and for love to surround what is still so precious between them. I also want to share that Jeannie Daniels has been in the hospital for 2 weeks with an infection that doctors cannot fully locate. She and her family ask for our prayers and for cards to help lift her spirits. She is at Portsmouth Hospital. If you want the room number, just ask me and I will let you know. May we hold them both and their families in our hearts. May we offer them our loving thoughts. And may we hold as well anyone going through hard times, difficult transitions, all who live with pain or uncertainty or with circumstances that feel too hard, even if we do not know the details, even if they never find the words to tell us. And with the depth and compassion present here in this circle, may we also hold what is happening in the wider world. As we witness the increasing intensity, the ongoing erosion of principles we had thought were secure, may we know that we do not face these fractures alone, and that belonging, real belonging, is built by standing with one another through the storm. And may we widen our witness still further to notice not only the weight of struggle, but also the strength that lifts us up, the resilience that lives in us, the endurance we have seen in others. May we value the gift of being together. May we value the measure of health we each hold today. May we value the measure of clarity we hold even when the future feels obscured. Just enough clarity for one next step, a call, a letter, a kindness, enough for just today. And so, holding all of this, the tender and the difficult, the resilient and the hopeful, we turn now to a time with quiet music, letting that music hold what words cannot. And if you wish, you may come forward to light a candle and add your own prayer or intention to this circle of care. holding all of those prayers held in silence, moving in the heart, witnessing the lights of our prayers. May this space hold our intentions as we hold what is deepest for each of us. I want to begin with a reading from Catholic priest, professor, theologian Henry Nouwen. He writes, "Hospitality means primarily the creation of a free space where the stranger can enter and become a friend instead of an enemy. Hospitality is not to change people, but to offer them space where change can take place. It is not to bring others over to our side, but to offer freedom not disturbed by dividing lines. It is not to lead our neighbor into a corner where there are no alternatives left, but to open a wide spectrum of options for choice and commitment. It is not educated intimidation with good books, good stories, or good works, but the liberation of fearful hearts so that words can find roots and bear ample fruit. And I want to offer you a story as a brand new practitioner of karate. Martial arts stories are appealing to me lately, and I wanted to share this one with you. Picture it, a commuter train in Tokyo some decades back. Businessmen in suits, mothers balancing babies, elders hanging on to swaying straps, everyone jostled by the motion of the car, people lost in thought or just enduring the ride from here to there. And then it happens. A man bursts into the car, appears to be a laborer. He is big, he is drunk, and he is angry. He lurches forward, yelling, swearing, knocking into this person and that, elbowing a man with a briefcase, striking at a woman holding a baby. There's fear, confusion. The whole car seizes up. At the other end of the car sits Terry Dobson. This is based on a true story. He's young, he's fit, 225 pounds, 3 years of Aikido, 8 hours a day. He could throw, he could grapple, he was tough, but untested. Aikido taught peace, resolve, don't dominate. Dobson knew that. He lived it. So he had never actually fought, much as he wanted to test himself. So in that moment, he found himself wanting to be a hero. This was his chance, and he thought, this guy, I will take him down. So Dobson gets up, intentions clear. The drunk man sees, spins, engaged, enraged, prepares to attack. Which is just the moment a friendly voice yells, "Hey! Hey!" Both men stop in their tracks, spin toward the voice, coming from a seated, diminutive, elderly Japanese man who's beaming at the laborer as though he had the most important and delightful secret to share. "Come here," the old man says, beckoning. "Come, talk to me." The laborer roars a swear in response. "What, you? Why the blank should I talk to you?" The old man continues beaming with no trace of fear or resentment. Hey, what you been drinking? Sake, the man hollers, but that is none of your business. Oh, sake, the old man says. That's wonderful. I love sake too. In fact, every night, me and my wife, she's 76, you know, we warm up a little bottle of sake and we take it out to the garden. We sit on the old wooden bench that my grandfather's first student made for him. We watch the sun go down and we look to see how our persimmon tree is doing. My great father planted that tree, you know, and we worry about whether it will recover from those ice storms we had last winter. Persimmons do not do well after ice storms, although I must say that ours has done rather better than I expected, especially when you consider the poor quality of the soil. Still, it is most gratifying to watch when we take our sake and go out to enjoy the evening, even when it rains. He looked up at the laborer, eyes twinkling. The drunk man seemed at first confused, but then slowly his fists unclench, his face softens. I'm sure you have a wonderful wife, the old man says to him. No, replied the laborer. My wife died. I don't have a wife. I don't have a home. I don't have a job. I don't have money. I don't have anywhere to go. I'm so ashamed. And the big, burly man begins to sob. The elder's face softens with compassion. Yeah. He pats the seat beside him. That is a hard place to be. Come, sit. Tell me about it. The last glimpse that Dobson, the Aikido student, has as he steps off that train is of that drunk man sprawled across the seat, his head in the old man's lap, weeping while the old man gently strokes his matted hair. I have a favorite quote from Rabbi Lawrence Kushner. We understand, he writes, that ordinary people are messengers of the Most High. They may not even see themselves that way, but by showing up with kindness, by opening a way for connection, by being present to what is, they change the story. We forget the power that even as strangers, we can have in each other's lives. The possibilities that are available when we are present, open, and aware to the people and situations around us. This is at the heart of belonging, not only receiving it, but helping create it, wherever, with whomever. And this month we are asking, how do we build belonging? Not only for those already in our circle, but also for people we do not know, strangers. Or, as the saying goes, friends we haven't met yet. Whether that's out in the world or right here in this spiritual community. What does it look like to offer welcome wide enough that others might feel truly at home? What are the challenges we must overcome, the fears we must navigate? And what are the gifts we just might find? The word stranger itself carries so much weight. Stranger danger, as Harper put it so well. It evokes caution. Don't talk to strangers. For millennia, humans have lived in small, close-knit groups where survival depended on protecting one's own and being wary of outsiders. And that instinct lingers. We seek people like ourselves. We feel safe in sameness, comfortable in conformity. I have had that feeling myself. There's something about being with like-minded people. I've heard that from more than one of our UUs in community. And yet, what becomes possible when we stretch beyond instinct? Faith traditions across the world push us past fear and into welcome. You were once strangers in the land of Egypt, Leviticus insists. In other words, remember, you too have been the outsider. Jesus tells the story of the Good Samaritan, the hated stranger who becomes the true neighbor. The Quran urges kindness to the near neighbor and the neighbor who is a stranger. Hindu scriptures counsel hospitality to travelers. Buddhism names sakara, the practice of welcoming guests, strangers, and wanderers as a virtue. Again and again, the call is the same: build belonging by reaching beyond what is familiar. And this is not easy. If it were, we wouldn't need to be reminded so often. It is a spiritual practice precisely because it requires intention. And one place to practice is right here in our own UU congregation. Former UUA President Peter Morales once told of a visitor who came to his church, sat through the whole service alone, couldn't find the coffee hour, and finally spoke with another visitor. Not a single member engaged her. On the other hand, many of us do try, but may be constrained by what David Reinick describes as New England hospitality. Here's how it goes. We sincerely welcome you into our church. As long as you know how to get here and know what to do when you arrive and know your way around. We are happy to talk to you if you initiate. And as a general rule, we will promise not to bother you. Sometimes we try so hard not to be overbearing that we sometimes miss the mark just a little. I know some churches have actually invited undercover guests to visit the church and see the place through the eyes of a stranger. Do they feel welcome? Can they find their way around? Will someone talk to them? I actually think we do pretty well. We have ushers and greeters who smile at people coming in the door. I've seen you go out of your way to chat with someone new at coffee hour, and just the other day, Lauren Katz, sorry to call you out, Lauren, but Lauren Katz mentioned at a committee meeting that she and a friend used to go down to coffee hour primarily for the joy of seeking out someone they did not know and talking to them. I love that. And yet, we forget. I know I do. It's easy to huddle with the familiar, easy to find ourselves in a conversational circle, not realizing we have turned our backs literally to everyone else. It's easy to miss the newcomer who lingers at the bulletin board, hoping someone will step forward and engage with them. But even if we do remember, and even when we do engage, then what? How is the kind of welcome I'm describing different from simply being polite? I like the way Scott Taylor, Soul Matters founder and director, describes what I'm talking about. Welcome is often associated with bigness, he writes. We speak about expanding the circle and making more room. But there is also the work of becoming smaller. And sometimes this is even more important. For instance, those of us who are white are learning that true welcoming of diversity just can't happen until we shrink and decenter our own voices. We also know that expanding community and welcoming newcomers requires right-sizing our needs and sometimes putting our preferences second. Welcoming regularly involves the smallness of humility and willingness to listen and learn. Great spiritual leaders remind us that the key to feeling at home in the universe is seeing ourselves as precious, but a tiny part of a greater whole, rather than believing the world revolves around us. Bottom line, there is a deep spiritual connection between the smallness of self and the expansiveness of potential relationship. And when we become less, we can be wider in hospitality to each other and anyone who walks through these doors on a Sunday morning. Reverend Roberta Finkelstein once saw an index card taped to a pole during coffee hour in a church she visited. On it were the words, "Do not neglect to show hospitality to strangers, for thereby some have entertained angels unawares." That is what building belonging is about. We never know when the one we greet may turn out to be an angel, or when we ourselves may become one. That conversation at coffee hour that you have today may be the reason someone returns. That youth who sees your open face may begin to trust adults just a little more. That child who is consistently greeted here may grow up knowing they do belong in the world. And that newcomer who carries hurt or hope may find a place to heal. And when we practice here, the more we open our hearts in ways that make genuine space for the other, the more we are able to show up differently anywhere. And in our divisive times, I can't help but tie the practice of hospitality to the practice of bridging worlds. Not always simple, not always easy, but a worthy direction in which to practice. Creating what Henry Nouwen called the space where the stranger can enter and become a friend instead of an enemy. To offer them space where change can take place. Not to bring them over to our side, but a space that liberates fearful hearts so words can find root and bear real fruit. As I think back to the story of the old man on the train, this is exactly what the old man did. He did not overpower the laborer or argue him into reason. He created a free space where another person's humanity could surface. What strength could not accomplish, welcome did. As Rabbi Kushner reminds us, ordinary people can be messengers of the Most High, often even unknown to themselves. Yet if they had not been there, it would not be the way it is now. We would not be the way we are now. Never forget that you too may be a messenger. So, may we practice. May we be undercover offerers of welcome, builders of belonging, messengers of hope. And in so doing, may we discover angels in our midst, one of whom may be you. Amen. Let us join in our closing hymn, number 1008. When your heart is in a holy place, please rise in body or in spirit.
We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts and out into the world until we are together again.
I invite you to speak with someone you do not know well at coffee hour. I'm picturing now when you see someone you don't know, all of you will like. So I'm picturing all the people who are new here like slipping out the back door. But I think we can be gentle with ourselves and each other. May your heart know itself as a holy place. May you go with courage to welcome the stranger and with humility to make space for another's story. May you discover in small kindnesses the seeds of great hope. Go in peace, go in love, go in the strength of belonging. Amen.
We would like to sing something to our beloved Susan. It's Tuesday, but we'll sing it now anyway. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.